Man, what I don't like is this guy and Marion trying to take credit for my act. He didn't fold the clothes. He didn't fold the clothes, did he?
No.
No. Because he didn't break the zipper. And he didn't feel bad about it, and that's why I folded the clothes.
Once in a blue moon, an actor will come along who's not only perfect at playing some essential supporting characters in film and television, but also consistently knocks them out of the park.
I know talent when I see it.
Acting, huh? Acting, yeah, that's like, take that, Hitler! Pew, pew, pew! Oh, look out! That Hitler's got a gun too! Pew, pew, pew!
Paul Walter Hauser is such an actor. Over the years, when someone has needed an immature, sad sack roommate in a halfway house, or a dim-witted Klan member, or a well-meaning security guard, or an unsettling, manipulative serial killer, Paul has been there. Sure, he's great for these roles physically, but he is fantastic at going the extra mile and bringing truth to the ridiculous, the sympathetic, and the despicable. So come on guys, let's Hauser a little bit. Can you Hauser with me? Let's do it. I want to talk about his early roles, what he's known for, and some of my personal favorites. But before we dive in, I just want to thank you all for watching, and also, hey, we have a Patreon now. In addition to the usual sharing, commenting, subscribing, notification bell stuff, if you'd like to help support this channel in a different way, in a money way, you can also visit the BlacKKKlansman Patreon. However much you'd like to contribute, we've got fun rewards like advanced access to episodes before we release them, voting on different topics or subjects, exclusive access to behind-the-scenes podcasts, and more. If you're interested, just click the link in the description, patreon.com/thebackfocus. Every little bit helps, and thanks again, guys. Paul's first film role was in the drama Virginia as Dale, a best friend to the main character who's falsely accused of a bank robbery.
Only a moron would rob a bank. Everybody knows banks are where it's at.
It's a nice, emotionally vulnerable performance, and it gave Paul the money he needed to move to Los Angeles. Drama would certainly come later, but his first parts were just in comedy. He got a brief role in Community, and I remember him vividly as a proud juggalo taken under the wing of Charlie in an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
All right, kid, what's going on with the clown makeup, though? You're sticking out like a sore thumb.
That's because I'm a juggalo? ICP! Insane Clown Posse, yo.
I don't know what that... You have a posse. Well, good.
He is very funny, and he holds his own against the improv chops of the cast. You know, something else I admire also is that he joined the ranks of other guest actors like Jimmy Simpson or David Hornsby who do not break first. In the bloopers, he's making them laugh with his ad-libs, but he doesn't break.
Dog, I know what sex is, but that looks like two animals just like fighting over food.
But this is how it's supposed to go, I think. So, you know, you could learn something here. I'm learning a lot.
Yo, have you ever had sex, man?
That's professionalism. When you're a series regular on a show, I mean, sure, you can afford to laugh, but when you're a guest star, you should never be the first one to laugh and ruin the take. It annoys people, and it just wastes time. I've watched these bloopers an embarrassing amount of times. It's like a religious thing with me, and it always bothered me when actress Mary Lynn Roscub is the first to break in this scene. I feel like Charlie Day looks annoyed. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't like cynicism and everything. It just looked like an example of what not to do. Anyway, more comedic roles followed in the Amazon series Betas and a couple episodes of Key and Peele. But he also had a great guest spot on the medical drama Night Shift as a welder who was accidentally exposed to some radiation after getting hurt on the job.
That's it? That little thing?
But he'll be all right.
You have 2 weeks, maybe 3.
What? God, these medical shows need to be on watch, dude. They kill character actors left and right.
Will you still take care of me?
Every day.
Yeah, I just don't want to do it alone.
Then Paul got the opportunity to really stretch his dramatic skills with his first series regular role in the series Kingdom, which focused on a family who owns an MMA gym. One main character, Ryan, he's a former fighter who's just been released from prison and he's trying to stay sober living in a halfway house. And his roommate is Keith, who's on probation for rubbing his genitals on avocados in a supermarket.
Keith.
What? It's just food. I don't even want to do anything to it. I didn't even do anything.
So yeah, he has his share of problems. Keith is an emotionally disturbed and immature guy who never quite got over his mother's death.
And she was only 32, so she was still very pretty. I don't mean pretty because she's my mom, but pretty like if you saw her, you'd think that's a pretty lady. You know?
She's pretty young, man. Was she ill?
No, she was fine. My dad killed her with a hammer when she was asleep, then shot himself in the backyard.
And he begins to look up to Ryan as kind of this big brother figure. It's a great dynamic between the two of them, and it's just a great character. He walks this line between sympathetic and just a little disturbing, considering his tendency to, there's just some social cues. It's just, he misses some social cues. They go over his head, like, when is it okay to take your dick out?
Put my dick on the table.
Okay, put your pen. Okay.
She knows what I'm doing.
He's bullied relentlessly, and you kind of never know when or if he's going to snap, which he does when he stabs someone in the halfway house. After covering up the whole thing in like a self-defense thing, Ryan really starts to look out for him and invites him to move in with him. Perhaps one of the kindest things anyone has ever done for Keith. And I love this scene when Ryan first shows him the house and he's just trying to hold it together. And it's kind of a bittersweet moment because something nice finally happened to this poor guy. It's a hopeful scene, but again, you're just waiting for him to snap. Again, which he does. Again, when he kills a homeless guy. Jesus Christ. Then Paul got another big break utilizing comedy and drama in the Oscar-winning film I, Tonya, in which he played real-life figure Sean Eckhart, a dude with a major inferiority complex who is a quote-unquote bodyguard to Olympic ice skater Tonya Harding.
Traveling internationally, I'm as resourceful as a lizard. My skills have been honed by years of infiltrating underground organizations.
He eventually becomes this dumb central figure and conspirator in the attack on rival ice skater Nancy Kerrigan.
I could withstand torture and I would still never talk. They could never break me. That whole Nancy Kerrigan thing, that was my crew.
Paul's performance here, it's like two things. It's confidence and stupidity. These are two attributes that really no person should ever strive to have simultaneously.
But I've actually been quoted as an expert in terrorism trends and profiles.
Where?
I believe it was a travel magazine a couple of years ago.
In every year that followed, Paul would bounce back and forth between comedic roles and award-winning dramas. It really seemed like I, Tonya tapped into his amazing ability to play these kind of slack-jawed mouth breathers. Close your mouth. God, why is your mouth open? Then they just think far too highly of themselves. Let's put it like that. For example, the same year he showed off as some razor-sharp comedic timing as a wannabe actor in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
LA. It means Los Angeles. It's so awesome there. I've already started like 4 wildfires.
He was an abhorrent racist in Spike Lee's BlacKKlansman.
Can I feel the C4?
No, C4 for you.
The following year, he started a recurring role as Raymond, a nerdy dude just looking for a sense of belonging after joining the Cobra Kai dojo in Cobra Kai.
Look, you're a little old. This is a class for teenagers.
Well, I can take them. I'm not afraid of kids, sir. And my mom, she doesn't charge me rent, so I got a lot of cash to burn.
But he also got the first starring role of his career in Clint Eastwood's historical drama Richard Jewell, which recounts the true events before and after the Centennial Olympic Park bombing. Paul, as the title character, calls attention to a suspicious bag at the event, saving lives in the process.
We gotta evacuate the tower! We have a bomb! Right now! We gotta move! There's a bomb!
Unfortunately, the FBI, God, they're such ass in this movie. They're twirling their mustaches. They just hate him so much, and they make Richard their prime suspect, and they say that he fits this profile of the false hero, claiming that he planted the bomb himself, then discovered it for fame and glory.
You're going to wait till the beep, and then you're going to say into it, there's a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
I'm sorry, what?
We need a voice exemplar, like I said a few times.
What makes Paul's character interesting is that there are these gray areas in his personality that lend themselves to this profile. It's not like you're guessing the whole time because you know the story, but it makes for a confusing case. Like when he gets a job policing a college campus, his actions are kind of reminiscent of the average power-hungry ass cop.
Boy, this is my job. I'm gonna have you let me do my job,
and this is our room.
Similar to his character in Tonya, he has a little bit of this inferiority thing, and he sees himself as an equal to actual law enforcement.
Yeah, this is it, Mama. I do this Olympics gig well, maybe somebody make me a cop again.
You're still a good guy, warding off the bad guys, aren't you?
On the other hand, he really is just this sweet, quiet guy who loves his mom and wants to make her proud. And one of the big arcs with his character is that he finds it difficult to stand up for himself. He just kind of goes with the flow, he doesn't want to rock the boat, cause a fuss, and this makes those more assertive, emotional moments have a bigger dramatic impact.
And now you're just yelling at me, telling me to be somebody that I'm not! I don't know how to be that guy. You're that guy. I'm me.
In real life, Paul was, and seems like he always has been, assertive when it comes to the character he was playing. Despite the script of Richard Jewell describing his character crying a lot throughout the film, he correctly thought it might lessen the overall impact of the story.
We can't have me crying that many times. It's going to take all the power out of it. And, doesn't it make more sense to let it build? I'll get choked up when my mom starts getting emotional because I'm mad that this is affecting my mother.
You're right.
I had a little thing there, but then we saved it for the end and we really let the dam kind of burst and break in the diner scene with me and Rockwell.
This film also marked an important part of Paul's personal life. While he was shooting in Georgia, he met the woman who would eventually be his wife, Amy, and the two fell in love rather quickly. They reconnected again in Los Angeles around the beginning of the pandemic. They got married, and within 2 weeks, Amy was pregnant with their first child.
Even if I told you all the details of what happened between her and myself and her and my some family members, I could tell you any detail or nuance in the world. None of it would ever excuse or explain the way that I acted.
But what followed was kind of this tumultuous period in his life. In the documentary series I Am Second, Paul describes how a series of events led him to just kind of be spooked by this sudden change in his life and all the responsibility that came with it.
He basically just ghosted me.
I was conflict avoidant. I was cold and cruel. I was definitely addicted to substances. And I definitely had an unhealthy sense of attachment to my former life rather than honoring the new life that God was giving me, both in my wife and in our child. And here I was, this dude who was just like, I've cornered the market on this whole Jesus thing. Also, I'm gonna go get so high I can't see straight and miss my son's birth. That's where I was at.
As Paul continued to work on projects like To Five Bloods, Cruella, and Queen Pins, the two were separated and eventually divorced. Now, I know we've been talking about Paul's career here. This whole thing might be like a big divergent part of the story, but I don't know, I kind of don't care because at this point in researching Paul, I was drawn more to this story of his real-life struggles than what he was working on. I encourage anybody watching this video to check out the I Am Second documentary series that they did. The link is in the description. There's 4 parts to it. And Paul is just completely raw and candid about some really personal parts of his life.
Yeah, So grateful to be where I am now.
I don't know, man. It's just so real. Like, you might not even like him after you watch it, but he's honest about his flaws. And really, the silver lining here is that they eventually remarried, had a second kid, and after being in a considerably dark place, Paul found renewed strength in his marriage, his Christian faith, and he decided to take the steps and get sober for good. This decision to turn his life around happened right in the middle of arguably the biggest job of his life, playing serial killer Larry Hall in the award-winning crime drama miniseries Blackbird.
In my dreams, I like kill women. You know?
Sure.
They're just dreams.
As Larry, he befriends a fellow inmate, Jimmy, not knowing that Jimmy is working for the police and is saying anything he can to elicit a confession. Having only a brief 10 to 20 seconds of footage of the real Larry Hall to study, Paul had his work cut out for him to build this character from the ground up. But instead of just outright, just trying to be creepy, he did what a good actor does and began with a foundation of this guy's basic humanity.
I'm not alone anymore.
It really is just a wonderful, unsettling performance. But what's even more impressive to me is that Paul had the strength and enough self-reflection to realize that while he was drinking, he was not giving his best performance, and he decided to take action.
I don't totally remember. It was like I blacked out, but then it was like I was in a dream where I see myself beating on her and ragging her, beating on her and ragging her. This guy needs a foundation with which we build the character, and the foundation is he's lonely, he's angry, he feels misunderstood, he is an abuse victim. There's like a litany of things that if I spoke to each and every one of you, I bet I could pull it out of each of you, that there's something you have that Larry Hall has. So I know I did. So while I'm doing the show, it was exhausting emotionally. I wasn't in a good place. And by episode 4, there was so much dialogue in this cafeteria episode. We're cleaning this cafeteria, and it's basically like a play on film, me and Taryn. And I just remember a couple days where I wasn't that sharp and I was forgetting dialogue or sort of like putting my own synonym phrasing into it rather than Dennis Lehane's immaculate writing. And I just stopped one day and I pulled my assistant, Anthony Pettix, aside and I said, hey, it was like a Thursday. I said, on Saturday, you need to throw the bar card out. It was really helpful to get through that. And I think my best work came as a result. Not that I phoned it in or showed up to set drunk. It was never something like that, but it was a more tired, frail version of me that was showing up.
It's difficult to know or quantify how much of an improvement there was in his performance as a result, but who cares? Either way, Paul won an Emmy and a Golden Globe, and among others, in his speech, he of course acknowledged his wife Amy in his success.
To my wife Amy, you make my heart strong and knees weak. That's a what up to Jesus. He's the sole owner. I own the body. I'm about to beat Matt Cardona. Yo, Ibushi. Yoga and sushi on me if you're able. Do things a little bit different. Brian Walsh, get the tables.
Well, all right. Well, I understood the first part of all that, but who's Matt Cardona? Ibushi? What is he saying? Apparently, separate from all this Hollywood glitz and glamour, Paul is a diehard wrestling fan. So much so that he's had a couple matches for various companies. And it wasn't like a quick, sure, I'll just show up for an appearance. No, he went full-blown Randy the Ram Robinson, just getting slammed on the mat, through tables, getting cut with a pizza slicer. There's still blood there. He's bleeding. Damn. I didn't know he had this alter ego. The guy's like a superhero. And really, like a superhero, Paul won. And I'm not talking about the wrestling matches or awards. I mean, Paul Walter Hauser is a winner, period.
And just like an athlete, I want to win championships. This is my sport. Wow. I do not show up just because it's fun. I show up because I'm trying to absolutely murder it. Even in a guest star on a sitcom, I'm only there to murder it and to try to build up and love the people who do the show every single day.
Elevate the show.
Let them out.
He's put the time in, created some memorable characters, and he's got a crazy amount of high-profile projects on the way. As of uploading this video, he was tapped for a supporting role in the remake of The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. He's playing one of his idols, Chris Farley, in a biopic directed by Josh Gad. He's joining the MCU as a yet-to-be-announced character in the Fantastic Four, and he's the star of the film Press Your Luck as Michael Larson, a real-life ice cream truck driver who outsmarted the Press Your Luck game show in the early 1980s. I mean, I'm actually really looking forward to that. It's a wild story. I've been waiting for this movie to be made, and he'll be perfect for it. And he voices embarrassment in Inside Out 2. And just a side note here, I'm pretty sure that he got this offer for Inside Out 2 while he was recording an interview on Rick Glassman's podcast.
There is no script available yet. Please find the sample character art and more about the project.
Well, what are you auditioning for? I don't understand.
It's not an audition. It's an... I think...
Should you respond? Would you like to be...
Everything here is censored, but he mentions how the, quote, first movie was brilliant. I mean, so it's a sequel. It's got to be it. This has to be it.
I'm just a little flabbergasted because I love the first movie. And it's like a bucket list thing for me. Like I always wanted to do a... Sorry, I'm just kind of having a moment. Yeah. And some people wouldn't have this moment and probably wouldn't feel anything, but I really care a lot. Jeez, what the hell? I'm really tired too. I have a little kid at home, so I'm not sleeping that well. I just really care about what I do.
I mean, even if it wasn't Inside Out 2, it could be anything. He has this immediate, honest, emotional reaction that just tells you who he is. And on top of all this newfound success, Paul has rekindled his marriage to his wife Amy and committed himself as a loving husband and father after turning his life around. Paul's story is it's legitimately inspiring to me. It's relatable. I mean, think about your own life. Look, it doesn't have to be on the scale of an actor winning awards, but just think about the times in your own life when things finally seemed to line up harmoniously, like your career, marriage, personal health, faith, and it all just works together like this well-oiled machine to make you the best person you can be. By all accounts, Paul Walter Hauser has just recently found that balance. And it may sound like a cliche, but the best cliches are true. I believe we're only seeing the beginning of a truly amazing career from a refreshed and renewed Paul Walter Hauser, and we should all feel privileged to be a part of it.